Have you ever really thought about that? I mean, 165 million years. That's a reign so long it makes every human kingdom, every empire, look like a flash in the pan. So, what was the secret sauce? What did it really take to hold on to power for that long? Well, let's get right into it. We're going to explore the story of Earth's greatest empire. This isn't just about giant monsters. It's a true epic about their incredible rise, their absolute domination of the planet, and, of course, their spectacular downfall. And here's the thing about great empires. They almost never start from a position of strength. They're forged in fire. And for the dinosaurs, their story begins with a brutal fight for survival on a planet that was barely livable. Okay, so picture this. 230 million years ago, the world is, well, it's a mess. Volcanoes are erupting everywhere, lava is carving up the landscape, and all the continents we know today are smashed together into one giant supercontinent called Pangaea. It was a tough, hostile place to live, but also the perfect crucible to create something new. This whole saga plays out across one huge stretch of time, the Mesozoic era, and we can think of it in 3 acts. First, you've got the Triassic, then the famous Jurassic, and finally, the Cretaceous. This is basically the timeline of their entire dynasty. But before there were giants, you had the pioneers. And I want you to forget the image of a massive T-Rex for a second. The story starts with these guys, small, speedy reptiles called archosaurs. In a world this harsh, they weren't built for power. They were built to survive. And this right here, this was their secret weapon. Their big evolutionary breakthrough. See, their ancestors, the archosaurs, kind of sprawled out with their legs to the side like a modern lizard. But the first true dinosaurs, like this little guy, Eoraptor, did something revolutionary. They developed an upright posture, with their legs directly underneath their bodies. This one change made them way faster, more efficient, and more agile. It was a total game changer. So, once they survived those brutal early days, they didn't just stick around, they took over. The struggle for survival was over. Now, the age of giants could begin. Welcome to the Jurassic. The planet basically got a makeover. The climate got warmer and wetter, huge, lush forests spread across the land, and the air was packed with oxygen. This new world allowed life to get big, really big. This is when we see the icons, the sky-high Brachiosaurus, the incredible Stegosaurus with its back plates, and of course, the terrifying predator that hunted them, the Allosaurus. But if the Jurassic was the golden age, the Cretaceous was the absolute peak of dinosaur power. I mean, this was the age of legends. You had the king himself, T-Rex. You had the walking fortress, Triceratops. And you had the living, breathing battle tank, Ankylosaurus. Even the planet was getting more complex, with flowering plants showing up and creating all new kinds of ecosystems. And you know, what's so fascinating is that these weren't just mindless killing machines. We have fossil evidence of nesting colonies from dinosaurs like Maiasaura. Her name actually means good mother lizard. This tells us they had complex social lives. They raised their young, they lived in communities. This was a successful society, not just a random collection of monsters. For 165 million years, it must have seemed like their rule was absolute, that it would never end. And then, in a single, catastrophic day, it all came crashing down. So what could possibly do that? This, a rock, an asteroid to be specific, somewhere between 10 and 12 kilometers wide. To give you some perspective, that's like taking Mount Everest, launching it into space, and aiming it right at our planet. And we know exactly where it hit. Right off the coast of what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. It left a scar on the planet that we can still detect today, the Chicxulub crater. This was ground zero for a global apocalypse. But here's the crucial thing. The initial explosion wasn't even the worst part. It was just the first domino to fall. The impact triggered massive earthquakes and tsunamis that swept across continents. And then came the firestorms, igniting forests all over the world. All that smoke and debris was thrown into the atmosphere, creating a thick cloud that blocked out the sun for years. And with no sunlight, photosynthesis stopped. The plants died, then the herbivores that ate the plants starved, and then the carnivores that ate the herbivores starved. The entire global food chain just collapsed. An empire of giants, completely erased from the face of the earth in what was, geologically speaking, the blink of an eye. But what if I told you that's not quite where the story ends? I mean, really, think about it. After all that time, was every single one of these incredible creatures just gone? Was their entire legacy just turned to fossils and dust?
The answer is no. Some of them made it. The dynasty didn't completely fall, it just grew wings.
And look, this isn't just some wild theory. The scientific evidence is absolutely overwhelming. Birds are the direct descendants of a group of two-legged dinosaurs called theropods. That's the same family as Velociraptor and even T-Rex. They have the same hollow bones, they have a wishbone, just like their dino ancestors, and we have stunning fossils that literally show the evolution of feathers. So the next time you see a pigeon on the sidewalk, yeah, you're looking at a living dinosaur. Let that number just sink in one more time. 165 million years. Their dynasty watched the continents drift apart. They survived incredible changes to the climate. Their reign is thousands of times longer than all of recorded human history combined. There's really no debate. They are the most successful rulers this planet has ever known. Their story is this incredible, powerful reminder that no one rules forever, and that life on this planet is always, always changing. Their time on top was ended by a catastrophe from the heavens. It really makes you stop and think, after our own, much shorter time in the spotlight, what on earth is our legacy going to be?